Guys, welcome back to the Distinction Factory where we make our mark, and today we are going to be focusing on grade 10 maths probability. So down here I've got some keywords for us to help us read Venn diagrams. If they say or in a question, that means that you are looking at both of the circles. So for example, it does not matter whether you are getting A only, whether you are getting B only, or if A and B are happening together, as long as whatever you pick has either A or B in it. So for that, you will be looking at both of the circles, so all three numbers added up. When they say and, that means that they have to happen together. So that refers to the intersection part where A and B are occurring. An example of and would be if you are looking at a deck of cards and your first event is kings and your second event is hearts, and then you have one card which is the king of hearts. That means king and hearts are happening at exactly the same time. So that would be represented in an intersection. Not in this example though, in another example. All right, if they say only, so A only or B only, that means you are looking at the semicircle of each of those. So if they say A only, that means you are looking at the semicircle part here. If they say B only, you are looking at the semicircle part here. When they don't mention any of those three words, they just have it as probability of A or probability of B, that means that you are looking at the entire circle that belongs to either of those options. So if they say the probability of A, that means you are looking at the entire circle, so the 20 and the 10 together. Also, it's important to note whether they're asking for the number or the probability. If they're asking for the probability in such an instance, we are going to have to put it over the total of 100, which is mentioned here in the side. But, however, we know that all of these numbers in our Venn diagram is supposed to add up to give us our total, but these do not. 20 plus 10 plus 40 adds up to give us 70. And that means that we have outstanding 30. So I'll write a 30 on the outside of those circles, and this refers to the people or the events that are not A or B. There's like a third event happening, and this denotes that these are non-complementary events because there's a chance of something else happening. The 10 or the overlap here, the intersection parts, means that these are mutually inclusive events because they do happen together. And if the circles were not touching, that means that you have mutually exclusive events, so that means that there's no chance of A or B happening at all. So the first question says the probability of A, and we know that if they mention just the probability of A, then we're looking at the entire circle of it. So we are looking at the 10 and the 20 together, which gives us 30 over our total of 100. If they just asked you for the number of A, then you can just write 30 as your answer because they don't want it as a probability. But in this case, we will put it over 100 because they are asking for probability. And then you have to write this in simplest fraction form or in decimal form. The next one says the probability of B, so that means we are looking at the entire of B circle, which is the 40 and the 10 together, which gives us 50 out of 100. And that can be simplified to be 5 over 10 or 0,5. The next one says the probability of A only. When they say only, that means we are looking at the semicircle of A, and the semicircle of A is this part here, which only has the 20 in it. So it'll be 20 over 100, which can be simplified as 2 over 10 or 0,2. The next one says B only, so we are looking at the semicircle of B, and that only has a 40 in it, so our answer will be 40 over 100, which can be simplified to 4 over 10 or 0,4. Then we have the probability of A or B. Whenever they mention or, that means we are looking at both of the circles together. So we are looking at A circle and B circle together. That's the 20 plus the 10 plus the 40, which gives us a total of 70 out of 100, which is simplified to 7 over 10 or 0,7. The next one says that we are looking at the probability of A and B. And means that they have to happen together. So we are looking at the intersection part of it. And in our intersection, we only have a 10 there. So that answer would be 10 over 100. 1 over 10 or 0,1. Now, whenever they put these apostrophes, it means that you are excluding those values. So this means the probability of not A. So you're going to see where the probability of A is and include all the numbers that's not in that part. So for example, the probability of A means that they are looking at the entire circle because they just mentioned A, they didn't mention any of the other keywords. But we are looking for everything that's not that. So that means that we are looking at the 40 and the 30 together. And that adds up to give me 70 out of 100. Okay, for our next one, we have the probability of not A or B. So we know that A or B is represented by both of the circles, but we are looking for everything that's not that. So we are looking at the 30. So we will say 30 over 100, which is 3 over 10, or 0,3. I have run out of space. There we go. All right, the next one says the probability of not A and B. So A and B is the intersection. So this part here. But we're looking at everything that is not that. So we're looking at the 20, the 40, and the 30 all together. And that adds up to give us 90 out of 100. So let me just write that out for us. We've got 90 out of 100, which is equal to 9 out of 10. Or we could say 0,9. Okay, the other way we could do these type of questions is to just minus that value from your total. For example, like if we're looking here, we want the probability of not A, and we know that A's probability is 30 out of 100. So we could just say 100 minus 30 over 100. So what I mean is we'll write it as 100, which is our total, minus the probability of A, which was 30 over 100, and that still gives you 70 out of 100. Okay, the next one says the probability of B only. So we know that B only refers to the semicircle of B, which is the 40, but we want everything that is not that. So we're looking at the 20, the 10, and the 30 all together, and that adds up to give us 60 out of 100, which simplifies to 6 over 10 or 0,6. I hope this helped you guys out to read Venn diagrams. You can practice some questions, and I'll catch you in our next video. Thank you.